I want to talk a little bit about why companies should choose a third-party consultant to PM their ERP implementation. I'm specifically interested in hearing your perspective on some better practices, some people would say best practices, for leading a successful implementation. But I'm also interested in what you've learned from clients you've helped, uh, where you've had to go in and remediate failed implementations. What, if anything, did these implementations, the not so successful ones that you came in once it was done, have in common?
Right. You know, David, I think in every situation where I've been called in to help fix failed implementations, there's been one thing in common, and that is the reliance on that company to use an internal resource to lead the project management effort for very sophisticated, very complex ERP implementations.
Okay. That's interesting. And I'm wondering why that is, because I know that many companies have the idea that they'd like to give the project management role. It could be one of the company's IT project management staff. It could be that they pull somebody out of a full-time finance or accounting role who they view as bringing some institutional knowledge to the design and implementation process. So why doesn't that work?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and a lot of companies do assume that that's the way to go: pull somebody from the internal resources to lead that implementation. But it's really not a good idea, and I'll tell you why. There's two main reasons. Number one, a project management of an ERP implementation is a very demanding assignment, and it requires 100% of the attention of the person leading that implementation in order for that implementation to be successful. So if you're going to pull somebody out of a full-time role and also assign them a full-time role as the PM for something that's very complex and very demanding, you are essentially going to be setting that person up to fail, not only in their previous job as controller or director of finance, but most likely at leading this implementation. It's just really hard to pull somebody in two different directions at the same time. And you're also going to pull that person away from their regular duties. So they're not going to be able to attend to their direct reports and others they support in the business. And therefore, others are going to lose confidence in that person in their regular duties. So the other thing is that successful implementations require the skills and expertise of a very seasoned project manager. And when I say seasoned project manager, I mean somebody who has worked extensively with software developers, implementers, the VARs, and cross-functional groups such as IT and business intelligence within your organization. That person who's leading that implementation has to have experience with transforming, mapping, migrating data, designing processes, procedures, reports, and developing content for the user acceptance testing and also for user training as well. And most importantly, you need somebody who has got very strong PM skills to lead that complex engagement. And without having that in place, again, I think you're setting yourself up for a failed implementation.
Mm-hmm.
It's virtually impossible to find one person who has all of those PM skills and has also risen the ranks in finance and accounting. So it's just very difficult to find that all those particular skills in one person.